Have you ever wondered what makes a Sharpie permanent, but a Crayola marker wash right off your hands? Today, we're exploring marker manufacturing to uncover the chemistry of ink formulation, how engineers blend pigments, solvents, and resins to control whether a marker is permanent or washable. We'll follow the industrial journey from molten plastic barrels to fiber tips and high-speed ink injection. Then trace how markers evolved from early felt tips to today's non-toxic, refillable designs.
Welcome to Goalie's Pip Academy.
At its core, marker manufacturing is the industrial process of converting raw chemicals and plastics into a precisely controlled ink delivery system. The ink doesn't just sit in a tube. It's suspended in a porous core that acts like a sponge, releasing liquid at exactly the rate your hand moves across paper. The difference between permanent and washable markers is molecular engineering. Every marker ink is built from three components: colorants, which are pigments or dyes, solvents, which carry the colorants, and resins, which are binding agents that make ink stick to surfaces. The ratio and type of each ingredient determines how that marker behaves. Permanent markers use alcohol-based solvents, typically isopropanol or ethanol, mixed with chemicals like xylene or toluene. These solvents are hydrophobic, meaning they repel water. When you write with a Sharpie, the solvent carries the colorant deep into the porous structure of paper, wood, or fabric. Then it evaporates almost instantly, leaving behind resin and pigment bonded at a molecular level to the surface. The resin acts like microscopic glue. That's why soap and water won't remove it. You'd have to dissolve the resin itself, which requires alcohol or acetone. Washable markers use the opposite strategy. They use water as the primary solvent. The colorants are water-soluble dyes, and the resins are designed to remain mobile, never fully hardening. When you write with a Crayola washable marker, the ink sits on top of the surface or penetrates only slightly. The resin never bonds permanently. Add water and soap, and those molecular chains break apart easily. Color matters too. Different pigments have different particle sizes. A bright yellow often uses organic dyes that are smaller molecules, while a deep black might use carbon black particles that are comparatively huge. Engineers adjust the resin and solvent ratios for each color to ensure they all flow at the same rate. Time for our first quiz. Multiple choice question. What is the main difference between permanent and washable marker ink formulations? A. The color pigments used. B. The types of solvents and resins that bind the ink. C. The thickness of the marker tip. Or D. The amount of water added. If you said B, the types of solvents and resins that bind the ink, then well done. That's right. The pigments provide color, but the solvent and resin determine behavior. Permanent markers use alcohol-based solvents and hard-setting resins that chemically bond to surfaces. Washable markers use water-based solvents and soft resins that never fully cure.
Hey, you're watching Goalie's Pip Academy, where we teach about science, geography, history, everything about the whole world. If you want to watch these classes with no ads, no distractions, go to getgoalie.com.
Let's follow a marker from raw materials to your hand. The process starts in two parallel streams: ink production and component manufacturing. In the ink facility, massive stainless steel vats mix pigments, solvents, and resins under controlled conditions. These batches are filtered multiple times to remove particles larger than a few micrometers, because a single oversized particle can clog the fiber tip. Meanwhile, the marker body is being made. Plastic resin pellets, usually polypropylene, are fed into injection molding machines. These heat the plastic to around 200 degrees Celsius, then injected at high pressure into precision molds. The barrel, cap, and end plug are molded separately at hundreds per minute. Inside most markers is a porous core, essentially compressed polyester felt. This material has capillary action, pulling ink from the reservoir toward the tip through microscopic channels. The fiber tip is made from compressed synthetic fibers, usually acrylic or polyester, pressed together under heat and pressure. The fibers are oriented to create channels that draw ink down through capillary action. That tip has to be rigid enough to maintain its shape under pressure, but porous enough to let ink flow continuously. Assembly happens on high-speed automated lines. The porous core is inserted into the barrel. The fiber tip is pressed into one end. Then ink is injected under vacuum through the back, flooding the porous core. The vacuum ensures no air pockets. The end plug is pressed in to seal the reservoir. The whole process takes less than 2 seconds per marker. Quality control is intense. Random samples are tested for ink flow rate, color consistency, line width, and drying time. For children's markers, toxicity testing is rigorous. Time for our second quiz. Multiple choice question. Which component is inserted into the plastic barrel to allow ink to flow to the writing surface? A. Metal spring. B. Rubber seal. C. Fiber tip. Or D. Glass tube. If you said C, the fiber tip, then well done. That's right. Its porous structure uses capillary action to actively pull ink from the reservoir. Without that precisely engineered tip, the ink would either flood out or not flow at all. The modern felt tip marker was invented in the early 1960s. Sidney Rosenthal's magic marker became a commercial sensation in the United States. Early markers used solvent-heavy inks with toluene and xylene, which were effective but toxic. The real innovation came in the 90s with low VOC and non-toxic formulations. Companies like Crayola pioneered markers for children, using food-grade dyes and water-based solvents. Today's washable markers are as bright as solvent-based versions but completely safe. The environmental movement brought demand for sustainability. Companies responded with refillable markers. Brands like Copic created systems where you could buy ink refills and replacement tips, extending the life of a marker indefinitely. Companies began manufacturing barrels from post-consumer recycled plastic. Some experimented with bioplastics derived from cornstarch or sugarcane. The most exciting innovation is in the ink itself. Researchers are developing bio-based solvents derived from plants rather than petroleum. Some companies are experimenting with algae-based pigments, creating a completely closed-loop system where every component is renewable. Time for final quiz. True or false? Modern marker technology has evolved to include environmentally friendly innovations, such as non-toxic formulas and refillable designs. If you said true, then well done. That's right. The marker you used in elementary school and the one you use today might look identical, but they're chemically and environmentally worlds apart. Marker manufacturing is a sophisticated interplay of organic chemistry, materials engineering, fluid dynamics, and environmental science. Every marker is a precision instrument where molecular decisions about solvents and resins determine whether it's permanent or washable, toxic or safe, disposable or refillable. The next time you pull the cap off a marker, notice how the ink flows onto the page, carried by capillary action through thousands of microscopic channels. Notice how it dries, whether water or alcohol is evaporating, whether the resin is bonding permanently or sitting loosely on the surface. You're witnessing chemistry, engineering, and a century of innovation, all condensed into something so simple a child can use it.
My mind is blown. Where can I learn more about these videos? Oh yeah, getgoalie.com. There's no ads, there's no junk, just cool stuff for kids and a dedicated tablet. Check it out, getgoalie.com.